Hey nerds, gonna be trying a new format here. I call it a first play. It's not so much a review, more about jumping into a game and seeing what it shows me. Then I pull out the important parts so you can decide if it's your cup of tea. The first game I decided to tackle was Bookwalker, which I actually won during a giveaway on I Am Lisa G stream.
Roger, commencing engagement.
Oh, holy shit! Clip that shit.
Her laugh is amazing. I love watching her. So without further ado, let's walk into the first chapter of Bookwalker. That was a bad joke, I'm sorry.
Just easy as it's...
Once I finally realized I had control of the character, because there's no tutorial screen, I quickly discovered the point and click aspect of the game. Her neighbor. Henry? No, mother, the writer, remember? We have a character not to be trusted by the neighbors. He's getting eviction notices on his door, and the note in the mailbox informs us that he's also wearing shackles. The letter goes on to explain that if we try to remove them ourselves, the penalty will be extended. It's signed by something called the City Writers Police. Oh, the plot thickens. We're going to be given work and our loyalty will be paid off in a reduced sentence. Okay, all right. Hello? Is this ATN? Who's this? This mystery phone caller explains that Vince has set us up with them. They know how to take off the shackles in exchange for a few jobs. 6, to be exact. It would be less, but whatever it is we did provided us with a 30-year sentence. But this leads me to wonder, what did we do? Oh. A letter details that his existing works will be removed from the bookstore shelves, in addition to not being able to write anymore. Even our bathroom is locked because we haven't paid our water bill. But what if I need the bathroom?
There is no bathroom!
Okay, geez. Sorry. Even ATN's apartment is starting to tell a story. From the portrait on the wall that I was allowed to keep, to the clean spots left behind by the ones taken by debt collectors, and the neighbors across the way who apparently moved out recently. I was getting hooked into the immersion, and do you know how hard that is to do? I have ADD.
It's easier to get a new one. Just easy as...
What do we have here? Okay, so the contract, I have to steal a potion of immortality. This is your briefcase. Inside is a brief of your case.
That's not funny.
I know. The briefcase seems to have some useful tidbits, including a photograph of the author, an excerpt from a book review, this neat little contraption.
Groter.
Okay, cool. Yes. Very cool. Jail cell. Oh, the whole mechanic changed. Here we're introduced to the bookwalking portion of the game, which trades in your first-person point of view to that of an isometric diorama staging. You're instantly faced with your first set of options on how to proceed. Since I only played this part once so far, I'm not sure if changing your choices changes your outcome. I imagine it does. If you play the game, let me know what you choose. You bend your knee this way and that. A few times testing it, the crunching sound has stopped. Whew. Anyway, let's get down to business. Okay, you're 40 years old. Do you still think of Mulan every time somebody says, let's get down to business? Yes, I do. And I always will. Mushrooms. All right. Picking up items will instantly sort them into the right inventory. The menu itself is a really neat color contrast to the rest of the dungeon, and the font reminds me of graphic novels. Upon examining the door, the character will muse that if he had a lockpick here, it would be very useful. He recalls having one at home, and so the game actually lets us go back and get it. Now, I think this is so neat. And the idea that we can bring real-world items with us back into the book, it's an A+ idea. That's really neat. What the? He's dead.
He's dead, Jim.
You don't say. The capsule around the dead man's neck starts vibrating, and you hear a soft voice coming from inside of it. Nice one, Sherlock. Give me a sassy sidekick. I love sassy sidekicks, from that annoying little robot dude in Borderlands 3 to that other annoying little robot dude in Warframe.
I've been thinking, Operator. I thought you'd want to know.
Yeah, that one. Talk to Roderick, that's the sassy cage's name, to get lore and hints about how to proceed. I don't want to cover too much about what they're talking about because I've decided I want you to play this game on your own. Then I got distracted. I see a key.
Oh, shiny.
We're going to go for that first. You see a key lying on a metal grate surrounded by clouds of searing steam. I didn't end up getting the key here, but I found the outcome positively delightful. Oh. The mission is clear. Find the alchemist, find our potion. Instead of beelining it, I recommend looking around first. Like any good book, the devil is in the details here. Burnt papers? What does a papers mean? What does a bean mean?
Michael, what does a bean mean?
Items in the junk are actually just junk, but they do serve a single purpose, but I'll get to that later when we reach the crafting table.
A few moments later.
Some items can be dragged? There's an ordinary power cable running through the wall. Hold on, what's a power cable doing in an old-timey jail? Brian Little. Oh, get it? Because he's big.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Potion tested. Gigantus 1. Results, proportional growth. It's clear that each cell tells a story of the experiments done to them, as well as each having a puzzle to solve. But I won't show you the others. I'd rather you enjoy solving them, as I did. The magnifying glass is easy to forget about, and I wish that I didn't. I'd have liked to zoom in more often. You can see a couple of things in the next clip. First, obviously, is that amazing background for the pause menu. The swirling black ink replacing the negative space on the screen is simple and effective. Also, I was confused if there was an autosave feature. There is, but it's not indicated at all. Here's a few seconds of me quietly panicking about that. Dead silence, but something tickles your ear. You feel the slightest hint of an air current flowing through the crack.
Say crack again.
Crack.
Well, there's something on the other side. In most games of this sort, I'm fearful to move from one room to the next, wondering if I'm going to miss out on things by progressing too quickly. Luckily, that doesn't seem to be possible in this game. Every room has something to unlock, like this workbench, or something to read, like this note. Greg. It seems... I don't know why that's making me laugh. It just seems like the name Greg is out of place here. Greg. It seems that the alchemist has sped up work on his potion. The corpses are hitting the floor one after the other. Stay for a night shift tonight. He promised to pay double. Thank goodness this game doesn't have an inventory management system, or at least not at this part yet. There's nothing I hate more in a game like getting momentum up to solving puzzles and then having to play some kind of like inventory management mini game in order to proceed. I hate that so much. There's already a difficulty spike. I'm already solving a puzzle. It's like, you threw off my groove.
You threw off my groove!
Warning. The following scene is of a stupid mammal doing stupid mammal things. You see a worn out workbench. You can make tools here if you want to. I do want to. Yeah. How do I do that? How do? You see a worn out workbench. You can make tools here if you need to. Maybe we don't need to yet because we haven't been prompted to by the game. Hello, door. Something this game does really well is colors. The room breathes red like a breath of fresh air due to all the green at this point, but red is usually a color associated with danger. I'm not sure if that's intentional, but well done. Another thing which is maybe good, maybe it isn't, but it keeps the workbench locked until you reach this point and pop this dialogue. Where the hell am I supposed to get a crowbar? They don't just leave crowbars lying around in places like this, you know. The last room had a decent looking workbench. Boom. Now that we've popped that dialogue option, we are allowed to see the ho 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 very impressive workbench menu. And you're allowed to reduce all of your junk inventory into ink. It won't suggest junking craftable ingredients, which is a good game design element. I took note of what I needed to make the crowbar. We need tools, and moved on. Pile of helmets. Prisoners' helmets. How many people have been here? Before we have time to dwell on life's little mysteries, we're faced with sudden but inevitable. A small warning to arachnophobes. The 3 fights in this video are of the 8-legged persuasion. I suggest skimming ahead whenever they pop up. Dungeon spooters. The straightforward fight menu is broken down into 8 elements. Healing items, the enemy hit point bar, an indicator for the enemy's next actions, your HP bar, your ink amount, think mana. Front and center, you have 3 actionable options: slash, a basic attack costing 15 ink, drain, a way to restore ink. Stun will cost you 30 ink, but will also cause 1 damage, and stun for all enemies. From there, the fight is turn-based. Quick note, while I'm editing this, I only just now realized that the screen is breathing during the fight sequence. How cool. Once the fight resolves and you dust off your ego, you and Frederick discuss the nature of your felled foes. I just don't quite understand. What's a giant spider doing in this book? It's not in the text. It's an ink eater found in books, but they're not part of the plot. They can actually take on any form, even human form? After what I can only assume is some eerie foreshadowing about a human-shaped ink eater, we loot the ashes that fell after defeating the spiders. Well, this marks the moment when the game's mechanics are all laid out and there's really nothing else to discover. That's when everything changes. I lied. I lied to you. And you know what? It did. It felt great. You would think that after watching Chris James on YouTube lying to me every video that I wouldn't have spread that toxicity to everyone, but no, I'm doing it. And it feels great. That's right. This isn't a medieval dungeon. It's a modern day set, and they've been trying to hint at it all along. Greg. It seems... I don't know why that's making me laugh. It just seems like the name Greg is out of place here. Very out of place. It's almost as if this letter detailing Greg's observations about the alchemist is there to tell us that the alchemist is not in charge here. There's an ordinary power cable running through the wall. Hold on, what's a power cable doing in an old-timey jail? What indeed? It's another clue. Not to mention this part right here. Did you see it?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
The helmet literally falls off the staging of the 4th wall because there is none, because there's no 4th wall. We're on a set.
Golf clap? Golf clap.
The alchemist isn't here and left us to deal emotionally with this 7-style abduction scene playing out in front of us. There is interesting dialogue with the person in the chair as well as key items to grab, including components for your workbench. But I'm not going to tell you where any of those are. I think you should play this game. Once you're on the next floor, solve the next puzzle by walking up to the furnace and... Stop it with the spoilers already.
Spoilers.
I want to find out for myself. Sorry, buddy. I'm just trying to do a first play here. From here, the game becomes more straightforward. There's lore to read, fights to fight, there's doors to unlock. I was just about ready to wrap up my gameplay and start the edit, but then I found myself saying something I was not expecting. I wasn't going to play the game for this long, but I really wanted to finish the mission to find out what happens at the end. There you have it, folks. The game successfully made the leap from content creation to something I genuinely wanted to play. Ah!
Gene Parmesan, how you doing?
Yeah, they keep doing it and it keeps working. Once again, you're left in a room with an eerie puzzle to solve and there's lore to learn. As for whether it ties into the guy with the chair, I couldn't figure out how. Maybe you can. If you do, please let me know in the comments. I'm dying to know.
A few moments later.
These oak barrels smell like oak.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
There's a note on there. There's a box to move with tools underneath. It works every time. Whoa. Oh, biggins. So it looks like maybe we should have restored our ink. I'm gonna have to do some draining.
That's what she said.
I'm really loving the music in this game. To my very limited scope of reference, it's 2-part Stranger Things ambiance and 1-part Halloween sound effects CD from Party City. I also thought it was worth noticing that the fight scenes don't want for anything despite the lack of animated attack actions. The subtle movements of the enemies and the sound effects are enough to make us feel completely immersed. So after the boss fight, the game randomly surprised me with gunshots that I don't want anyone else to get startled by. So in-game gunshots in 3. Okay, but did I just hear gunshots? And just for the sake of protecting your innocent eyes, I'll spare you the crime scene and show you my reaction. YouTube has some guidelines in place that I'm still getting to know about, like realistic violence in games and crime scenes, which I totally understand. I get it. You shouldn't do that.
Because it's wrong.
So we're going to skip past those 2 areas. Only one of them has some information about the game in it. But again, you're going to figure that out on your own. And we're going to move to the outside of the building.
A few moments later.
That was him, the alchemist. What happens here is a palate cleansing, almost buddy cop comedy of errors, followed by a very effective audio transition set to a blank screen, almost mirroring the idea that when you read a book, sometimes you need to use your imagination. From there, you're treated to the final mechanic reveal, and one that I feel is underused in story games personally, the choose your own adventure aspects. I'm not going to tell you what I chose because I'm not entirely sure I made the right choice. Once you conclude the choices, you'll be privy to an automated cutscene of the suitcase closing, which I found super satisfying. I think the courier is waiting for me downstairs. Okay. I need to get some sleep now. I'm exhausted. And I chose not to show everything that happens after completing a mission, but I will just tell you. After a super clandestine cutscene, you'll get a phone call from your client informing you about how well you did. You can live here for now, partner. Two weeks later. I feel like I didn't get enough sleep. Wow. Okay, well, I feel like that's a good place to leave off my first play of this. Interesting. Take it away later, me. Ultimately, I went into Bookwalker thinking, sure, it's a game that I got for free, and I want to try a new video format, so why not two and two together? I figured it would be a fun opportunity to learn editing and how to use fun clips. What I ended up with was like an actually enriching gaming experience. It brought my imagination to life in a way that like other games haven't lately. And that's definitely worth the purchase price. I think it's like $15 on Steam right now. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, $14.99 on Steam right now. So there you have it. My very first play. So what do you think? Does this look like a game you would want to play? Let me know in the comments. You can also tell me other games you'd like me to do a first play of, or, you know, just tell me to stop making videos altogether. I mean, I won't listen, but you'll feel better. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye, nerds.